Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. I've got Deedra Abboud and Tara Ijai. Did I say that right?
You did.
You did.
Oh,
Perfect.
yes. Yes. So, I listen, man. Okay. Me and the girls here have been just laughing hysterically before we even came on. So I think we're just going to carry on from here. I'm Kyra Schaefer, as you probably know, and I got the distinct joy, pleasure, and honor to publish the amazing Deedra Abboud's campaign Chronicles. And this book is so awesome that my husband wouldn't even send this book to the editor. He said because he wanted to learn something. So, I just want to put that out there. Deedra, introduce yourself to our friends here listening and watching.
I am Deedra Abboud, and I wrote this book.
There's so much more.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Hey, Tara.
Yeah.
Tara, can you introduce Deedra?
Deedra's been a civil rights and social justice activist for years. She's an attorney. She is a badass. She ran for U.S. Senate in 2018, having conversations all over Arizona. And that she's been collecting them and compiling them and put them in this book. And that's where we are today. Hey, Becca.
And oh yes, and people are signing on and saying hi to us.
They are.
Facebook user saying hi.
We like the long hi.
Who are you? We want to know you. Becca is going, geez, love them.
It's true. We love Becca too. We were just with her.
Oh yeah. Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, she was awesome.
All right, so let's dig in. Should we do our special announcement in a few minutes and not just right away? I think we'll wait. We'll wait on our special announcement. We have a special announcement.
So
all right. So Alicia, I think it's Alicia McBride who is our
yes.
Facebook user here. Jen Buck is saying, "Hey, all right." Hi, you guys. All right, so this is what I love about this book, is that I can turn to any page, and not only will I learn something, but I also might be entertained, and I also am going to be able to, I call this concentrated orange juice. I could take one conversation and probably distill it and get a really clear understanding of what I either may have misperceiving or been perceiving properly. And so that's what I love about it. So I'm going to flip to any page and see what we come up with. Okay. I have dog-eared this one. You said you believed in healthcare for all. Does that include single payer? Deedra, yes. And woman number 2, no, Medicare is better. Medicare for all is better. And Deedra, how is that different? Women number 3, I don't like Medicare. Medicaid for all is better. All 3 start arguing with each other. Deedra, okay. You see why I say healthcare for all? Let's agree we want everyone to have healthcare, quality healthcare instead of bankruptcy and death, and work on that instead of arguing over the label. If we all are dedicated to the same goal, we can figure out the details. Maybe even a system no one has thought of before that used to be what the United States was known for. Did we lose Deedra? She's like, I'm good. I don't even need to be here.
You're supposed to just start laughing. She's like, yep, that's what I said.
I said that. Boom. Peace.
She says that and more, Kyra. Yes. I'll represent today. So I'm the other scarf.
She's right. And so that is cool because I think that's a big part of the problem. And as soon as she pops on, I'll click her in.
You know that everyone
thought you're out.
Everyone thought that I was Deedra on the campaign anyway, right? I can tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah, what I love is that on your Facebook profile, it says Tara Ijai, and then it has
Deedra
Deedra
stunt double.
Abboud.
Yeah, I put stunt double for Deedra, and I actually got job offers. You know how Facebook reads everything on your profile? I got job offers for a stunt double job,
Nice.
and I'm like, okay, I can do it.
Do you want to go and check on Deedra? Would you mind? And I'll read another one.
Okay, read another one, and I'll check on Deedra. I'll be right back.
Let's see. So, man, these events must be really tiring. Having to meet and talk to all kinds of people every single day. I'm like, I don't know how she does it, really. Deedra, not to me. I love it. But I can see where it would get tiring for people with the intention of just coming in and shaking as many hands as possible so they can leave. Man, so what's your intention when you come to these events? Deedra, to meet whoever I'm supposed to meet and make connections with whoever I'm supposed to make connections with. Man, wow, I really like that. And I really like that too. There are so many cool things, like I said, within this book. And when you think about a perception such as that, it turns us around a little bit, you know, to help us really understand kind of what's going on. So let's add Deedra back. Hey, Deedra.
And we're back.
All right, and we're back. So that one was on healthcare. Did I lose my place? And say things to me, Deedra, so I can hear your voice.
I'm here.
Okay, good.
I think Cox was worried I was getting a little too much attention.
We thought you were being dramatic.
House. So tell us a little bit about that piece of it, if you feel drawn, or we can move on to the next one, about healthcare, and how we're looking at it, how looking at it can actually transform how we can potentially get this need met for people.
Well, I mean, most of the modern day countries actually do make sure that everybody is covered under health care. And right now, you know, basically we're just saying that the insurance companies get to decide whether or not we get health care, and whether you have to afford it in order to get it. And then they get to decide what you get, even if you can't afford it. So this is healthcare, prisons, education. These things should not be privatized. These things should be have accountability, and we as a society should be able to control how they treat people. I mean, I don't even understand the idea of it being a marketplace. Well, a marketplace a free marketplace assumes that you have the ability to move your money, to make decisions about where you put your money. But when we privatize healthcare, prisons, and education, then monopolize them on top of that, you don't have a choice. There's no free marketplace because there's nowhere to move to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. A lot. And
and yep.
see what I mean?
Explain it to me like I'm 5. No,
This is what I deal with. Yeah.
No, I think any 5-year-old would understand that,
Yep.
because I think it's very straightforward, and it should be straightforward. And I think that we get convoluted, like with what these ladies were doing, is putting these labels on it and saying, well, I don't like that, or I don't like this. Well, what do you like, so we can get there?
Right. And to be honest, I got kicked off, so I didn't even know what you were reading, other than it was healthcare. But now I know what you're reading because you gave me a little tidbit. So yeah, I mean, that was really an issue on the campaign trail, was everybody had a label and an understanding of the label, but then other people would have a different understanding about the label. And it's like, okay, people are dying and you're complaining about labels.
Yeah, let's get real. Let's get down to the brass tacks. That's right. Okay, so I just flipped to this one. Let's go there. All right, because Deedra is not afraid to go there. Okay, that's what I love about her. Okay. Some women have lied about being raped. And then Deedra says, some rapists have confessed to being rapists. Woman, What does that have to do with anything? Deedra, nothing. I thought we were playing an exception to the rule game.
That's Deedra.
There's another one in there where a lady's talking about my scarf and that she won't vote for me unless I agree to take my scarf off. And I said, so you need me to get undressed in order to vote for me?
You said it.
The next one, protester. I don't want, am I saying this right? Shahira? How do I say that? Sharia. Sharia.
We call it Shakira law.
In our government. And then Deedra, me either. Let's work together to keep all religions out of our government. Telling you. So what is that? What is, because again, explain to me like I'm 5.
So Sharia is just it's like canon law in Catholicism. So it's just the religious ruling on issues. And, it has this there's historical ruling, and then there's scholars that continue to update, according to what's going on in society today and new inventions and new ideas.
No, not again.
But it's a religious law, and religious law has no place in U.S. law. So religion tells me how I live my life. That's where it ends. Religion doesn't tell me how I should tell other people to live their lives. It's my life. Whereas U.S. law is about what we as a society has decided is acceptable and unacceptable in our society. And that shouldn't be religious based.
I completely agree. And I it's so interesting. And I think we're all looking at it now more and more and more, or at least it's coming more and more to my awareness, is that we're looking at what fundamental principles our government and our country rather was founded upon, equality, religious freedom, all of those things that the founding fathers felt persecuted on to begin with. And so when we're, 200 years later or whatever, we're looking at, oh yeah, wait a minute, I forgot. I thought we founded this country on things like equality. Oh, but not for you, but not for you, but not for you. And it's like, okay, straight up, what? What is going on? And so I think you make an excellent point, as per usual.
Well, the founding fathers also remember that the U.S. Constitution is a living and breathing document, and it has been changed over the years to be more inclusive, and those are called amendments. And the definition of an amendment is to change something. So when people say that, that wasn't in the founding fathers, it's like, okay, well, there were a lot of things that were not in the founding fathers, which is why they made it a living, breathing document to change with the times according to the society that it was ruling.
Right. And that I learned that, I think, in, what was that show? What was that movie with Brendan Fraser and Joe Pesci? I try to get my legal and political viewpoints from movies. And that really helps.
It is one of my favorite movies, and it's escaped me.
Yes.
The uncle that's an attorney, but he's not really an attorney.
Oh no, that's my Uncle Vinny.
So that's where my mind
went. One too.
Close. We're close. We're all on the same page.
We're almost there.
We're both comedians.
It's not school ties. It's something else. And but anyway, man. But anyway, he talked about how the 45
with honors.
Let's done. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you. Thank you. The whole point of the whole movie is about him not graduating with honors. So, but anyway, it was just what you're saying. The founding fathers knew that they didn't know what they didn't know, and that's a good thing. We don't know.
They knew that that even though that they wanted certain things for them, and that didn't include everybody. And they didn't necessarily want to include everybody, but they knew they wanted to include more. So they had to have, and they knew that society evolves, which is why they made it a living, breathing document. Because not all constitutions are living and breathing documents, meaning that not all constitutions can be amended. They either have to be thrown out and start over, or just live with whatever we started with. Ours is a living, breathing document so that it can change and be more inclusive as society evolves. And since humanity evolves, I just don't even know why that's a question.
Yeah, right. That's right. But I think there was a lot of limitation and viewpoints at that point in time, probably.
Yeah, women, for example, in International Women's Day and Women's History Month, which is where we are today. Women didn't have the right to vote. They didn't have the right to have contraception. They didn't have the right to tell their husband no to sex. They didn't have the right to own property. They didn't have the right to have their own bank account. They couldn't buy anything on their own. Even inheritance automatically went to their husband, father, or brother. I mean, we've evolved. That's something. And the majority of those evolvements didn't happen until 1920s and up to the 1950s.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody else just want to listen to Deedra talk for like 2 or 3 hours? I feel so much smarter than I did before.
Yes, she did run for Senate, Liz.
Oh man,
2018.
Okay, so wow, this one is okay. See, this is the thing. So you can have kind of one-liners. You have one-liners in this book that are humorous but also insightful, and then you're also tackling some really deep, important elements. So you say you support LGBTQ rights, but your religion says to throw them off buildings. Deedra, nope. Protester, yes, that's what you believe. Deedra, nope. But it's funny that you're going to tell me what I believe. Protester, your religion says to throw them off buildings. How can you believe that? Deedra, I don't, nor does my religion. That's ISIS, who are terrorists killing everybody, including Muslims. They don't represent me or talk for me. Protester, no, your religion says to throw them off buildings. Deedra, where in the Quran does it say that? Protester, it's in there. 1,400 years ago, they didn't have buildings. So where in the Quran does it say that? Like, at what point do you, your tenacity in this, and Liz Don is somebody who has a tremendous amount of tenacity. I just want to give a shout out to my girl. But your tenacity to sit there and listen to some of these things is incredible. Where does it in you, does this drive come from to help correct these limitations, these viewpoints? Where does that core come from for you, Deedra?
Number one, it's knowing me. It's number two, knowing that none of it has anything to do with me. So I'm not going to take it personal. And number three is I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm having a conversation. I'm just deciding whether or not they're participants.
Yeah, that's huge. You're like, are you going to be listening or are you not? There's certain points.
Are we having an exchange? And if we're not, I can deal with that too.
What I love is there's certain points where it's just like there's you wait for them. Like there's a long pause and you're like waiting for them to come around to your understanding. Tara, what were you going to say?
Understanding.
Yeah, I think it's important to note there's something that Deedra always talks about with her intent, setting her intention for the day. Like she has an intention how she's going to leave people. And so I feel like that everything that she does and says kind of falls into that. And I'll let Deedra explain about her intention.
So everything to me is about planting seeds and connecting. And, I'm not a connector like Tara, but still, connecting is in the end what I'm trying to accomplish. So connecting to me is finding common ground. And, I have a whole category, that people fall under. I take everybody at their word. So I assume that we're starting out with good intentions to participate in whatever conversation we're having. And unless you show me otherwise, I'm going to continue to assume that you have that intention. Even when you say things outlandish to me, I'm going to treat you as though this is sincere. As we go through, and I'd start deciding, like, are we going to be able to have common ground? And, I'd like for us to have common ground, like, reach a place where we can have a greater understanding. But, the scale can also go down to, all I just want in life is for me not to give you a justification for hating me and all Muslims based on my actions. And it really goes down to, I want you to walk away having no feeling whatsoever, or agreeing that the grass is green.
Yeah.
It's really about how people, they one of the things is, they say people don't remember, what is it, Tara? They don't remember what you said or what you did, but how you made them feel.
Yes.
Right. And
Right.
I do embrace that, but from a different angle. So it's not necessarily that I want to make everybody feel happy. It's that I don't want to give them a negative feeling that is justifiable. That doesn't mean they aren't going to have a negative feeling. When there's one in there where somebody said, I defended a terrorist. I was a terrorist attorney, and I was like, I wasn't even an attorney during those years, and it was before I even went to law school. And they're like, no, the internet says that you were his attorney. And I was like, but the internet also says people didn't land on the moon, like, you were his attorney. And I was like, really? You can't be someone's attorney if you're not an attorney. It's like, it's against the law, And he's like, okay, well, I'll give you that one.
Unless you're my cousin Vinny. He failed the bar multiple times. Let's bring it back around to things that I understand, Deedra. I'm just kidding.
But he also, was delaying them verifying that he's an attorney. But you don't get to go in front of the court. You don't get to go speak on the news and represent yourself as an attorney and not get found out.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
In Arizona, they have their own laws to make sure you go to jail for doing that too.
Yeah. So Liz is just popping in, such powerful detachment to what others think. And she also said, was in agreement with what I was saying. We just love to listen to you forever. Would love to ask her a few questions. Liz, you guys would hit it off amazingly well. So let's talk about that part of detachment, because really, 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 I am a recovering people pleaser. And I love any tips and tricks to staying detached. In a cancel culture, in a way, I am also desperately afraid I'm going to offend someone. Tara was actually a good helpmate in this, and she said, "What is your intention? If your intention is good, then you're probably on the right track." And I talked to another friend, and he said, apologies go a long way, with that, as far as, hey, I didn't know, I can learn better. Liz was saying that quote earlier was from Maya Angelou. Another quote from her is, once you learn better, be better. So there's two parts to this. The first part is learning how to be detached as a people pleaser and wanting everyone to be happy with me. And then part two is allowing ourselves to have our voice in a world where we may not be seen with clarity. And what advice would you give to that?
Number one, I have spent many, many years getting a PhD in me, knowing why I do what I do without judgment. Like, I'm a very logical person. I lead with logic. Tara is a very emotional person. She leads with emotion. Both of those are great, right? They serve purposes. I try to tone down my sharp edges because it's better. It serves me better, but I'm not trying to change how I lead. I naturally lead logically. My emotions are my default. They're back there and I'm listening to them, but they're not where I lead from. So the first thing I say is that if you know you, if you know why you do what you do, if you know how it serves you, right, then you have a foundation for those things. So then when people attack you or try to gaslight you or any of those things, it's not a trigger because you know it's not true. So you don't have to defend yourself because it's not even true. So think of it like this. Like if someone tells you that, let's go with the easiest one for a woman, that you're ugly. That's a trigger if you have that little feeling inside of you that might be true or it's important. But if you think that you're beautiful, because beauty comes in all forms, and you have already chosen within yourself that this is me and I'm good with me, then someone saying that you're ugly doesn't mean anything to you. So if you think of it like that, like, you know, if you're a size 2 and someone says you're fat and you think that you're fat, then that's going to be a trigger. But if you're size 2 and someone says that you're fat and you think that you're too skinny, that's not a trigger. If we could look at things like that, if someone calls me a terrorist, I'm not upset because I know I'm not a terrorist.
Love terrorists. Maybe.
If someone says that I'm a whole jab, that does not bother me because I know that I'm not. And why do I know that I'm not? It doesn't matter how many men that I've slept with. I don't care because it still means I'm not.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Woo, girl. Let's do this.
One day. I love you.
So really,
Oh my God, this is the best.
The more you know you, and the more you get to know you and love you, the less things are triggers. You know, let me give you another example about like marriage. I have a firm belief that my husband wants the best for me. I absolutely believe that. I truly trust that. So when he says something that would traditionally hurt my feelings, like it's not that I don't have feelings. He can say something and I'm like, wow, I feel that ting, you know, that wasn't cool. And I will say to him, from the perspective, I know that he would never hurt my feelings on purpose. So I will talk to him and say, okay, so with that, really didn't sound hurtful. Did you mean to say it in this way? Or what I heard was this, is that what your intention was? Oh, here's a good one. A couple of weeks ago, I fell and twisted my ankle. And so we couldn't get like one of those knee strollers, you know, so that you can walk when you can't walk. And we couldn't get it till the next day. So all night, you know, I'm doing the 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off with the ice, and I'm not moving. He's having to, you know, get me water or get me food, you know, everything that I need. And, you know, you need to go to the bathroom, right? So we have an office chair with rollers. So I had him bring the office chair, and I would scoot off the couch and get in the office chair. And then he would roll me to the bathroom, and, you know, I would go. But it's at night, you know, when I'm drinking water and just sitting there, and I have to go like 3 or 4 times in the evening. And he says, well, maybe you should drink less water so that you don't have to go to the bathroom as often. And I said, so you're suggesting that I should potentially dehydrate as opposed to you helping me go to the bathroom for a few hours? And he was like, no, that's not what I meant at all. I'm like, okay.
Well, he just don't want to hurt. He doesn't want you to hurt yourself.
Right. Really, I mean, really, his perspective was he was trying to be helpful. He was thinking that it was a hassle for me to have to do all this stuff to get to the bathroom. Perhaps we could cut down on me having all this hassle. He wasn't hassled. He was happy to do it.
Right.
But, you know, dehydrating wasn't the best option.
Yeah, right. And I think that happens a lot especially in relationships. And I think with your book, one of the things that it is to me, it's a guide to self-awareness when it comes to having difficult conversations with people who have different viewpoints and opinions of you. And it's not necessarily the same verbiage or what you would be talking about with a person you're in a relationship with, a friendship or a family member, but it is something that we can take and go, how can I apply this in different areas of my life? So one, you get the political side of understanding things at a much deeper level that are very practical understandings of how things work. But at the same time, it's a lesson in compassion and connection. And just like what you said earlier, I'm not trying to necessarily change your mind. I just want to come to a level of neutrality and agreement. Grass is green, sky is blue. Cool. Let's get there, and then we can move around and play with these ideas. And I think there's definitely not enough play, in how all of this stuff works. So the second part of my question was, sensitivity. Me, white gal, just, having a tribe, having people that rely on me for different things, within my business and stuff like that. And all diversity, all different types of people, making sure that, my intention stays good. Is there any advice on that part of it? I think I asked the question better the first time.
So, so empathy, the difference between sympathy and empathy. Empathy is being able to relate to someone's perspective or an event or a situation, even though you haven't personally experienced it, as opposed to sympathy is, I've experienced it, therefore I know. The thing with empathy is not everyone has it. And that is because it's very difficult for some people to put themselves in these theoretical situations of someone else's perspective. But to be honest, I've found from years of experience, even I used to have to give directions way back in the 90s. I worked and I had to give people driving directions. Or I had to get driving directions from people in order for a service person to get to their rural place. And, GPS wasn't a thing, definitely, but you had to ask the person whose house you're trying to come to describe the landmarks, right, to get there. And I noticed that men would always talk about direction, east, west, north, south, and women would talk about, there's a sign here, right? Yeah. There's a sign here, there's a tree here, that kind of thing. And so when I would take the directions, I would get both of them so if I was talking to a woman, I would take that and then I would either ask her or try to decipher what east and west was. And if I was talking to a man and he gave me east and west, I would try to ask him, if there were some landmarks, so that I would really have the information for the service person, because I don't know who's actually going to go out to the house. I want them to have everything, even if you get to the Texaco, it's too far, turn around. But that made me realize that men and women, definitely think differently. And then I started finding out that men are a lot less related. They're less able to relate to.
Oh, she's going to say empathy.
Sorry. They're less able to relate to examples. Like analogies. They're much less able to go with analogies. And I'm an analogy person. So as soon as you give me something, for example, Tara and I were talking about a blowout, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And so she was explaining to me that it's you go to the salon and they wash your hair and then they basically style it with the blow dryer. And I was like, oh, so like my grandmother, the wash and set. Right. Yeah. So that's how I think. I relate things to things that I know. Men have a lot harder time to do this. So therefore, the analogy of, well, when a man does this and a woman does, it's like when a woman does this, doesn't always translate for men. Some men, yes. but it doesn't always translate for men. So it's really knowing you, knowing what you're trying to accomplish, understanding that sometimes you have to explain things in different ways for different people. I mean, that goes back down to the education of teaching to the student instead of teaching to the test, right?
Yeah.
So it's recognizing that there's lots of avenues, lots of roads, lots of highways to get to a place. But if you know what place you're going to, you can figure out which method gets you there.
Yeah.
And in this book, it's a light read because everything is on its own page. The conversations, some of them are very short, but it's also a deep read. And that's, I think that's difficult to be light and deep because I really go toward, since I don't take it personal, I can go to humor, I can go to thought process, I can go to consequences, and it's situational. You see it in the book that there are several times when someone starts out the same way, they say the same thing to me, but we go in a different direction because I was reacting to the situation and the individual person I was talking to, not about memorized talking points.
Right. And I think that we see that a lot with politicians. They're saying the same things over and over again, and you're speaking directly to the person. You're not there just to shake hands. You were there to educate and inform and connect them with new ideas and new possibilities of seeing things. You're the almost like an anti-politician.
Well, I show up and answer questions, these days, and don't even ask you for money to get there. I may ask you for money after, but I first.
So, oh my God. Okay. So I think we should do our announcement. Announcement time. All right. All right. So here we go. Here we have our book by Deedra Abboud, Campaign Chronicles.
Woo!
And she is getting, the #1 bestseller sticker that I'll be putting on here. Yay!
For that 70,000 miles across Arizona.
Yes, here we go. We're going to officially put a sticker on there that says, that was all worth it.
It absolutely was.
18 months on the road.
This is an accomplishment of the spirit, the heart, the soul. You bear it all for us to see. You let people in on your thinking and your thought processes and what it has taken to get where you are. And I'm really, really grateful and appreciative that you let me be the publisher of your book. And I'll tell you what categories. Currently, the book is ranking in social theory, campaigns and elections, humor, political humor specifically, women in Islam, existential psychology, conduct of life, social work, civil rights, and practical politics. So I'm just so excited. This is the first day too. So if you haven't gone out there, gotten your free download copy, please do so. And guys, is there also a way for them to order their paperback copy, a signed paperback copy as well?
Yeah, myloveglasses.com. I can put it, I don't know, can I add to the comments? I don't see.
You should be able to. Yes, you should be able to. If not, put it to me in a
private chat and she'll do it. If not.
Yeah, it's not like Zoom. And I'll do it. But I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool. And Liz has a question. Let's see. It's a long question. Woohoo! I would love to know if there was a difference by how you were received as a candidate by men and women.
Funny enough, in the conservative areas, it could go either way. In the progressive, I got a lot more pushback from women than men. Men were a lot more accepting, and the women, it was almost all based on my clothes or my religion. Somehow I was taking away from them, and why can't we be like Tara? Tara, why do you wear the scarf?
Well, honestly, Deedra, it's to give other women a chance.
Well, yeah, so it was funny.
That's a long-running joke.
It was funny. You know, I mean, but even there's Muslim stuff in the book as well. You know, we had some Muslim interactions. So I had some Muslim women telling me that I was too going out with color and standing too close to men and, you know, all this stuff. And, you know, I'm just like, okay. I mean, there's one in there that says, a Muslim girl tells me that there's a Muslim guy, I was at a Muslim event, that he was saying that I needed to dress more modestly. And I said, why don't you, she said, the brother. And I said, well, tell the brother that if he lowered his eyes, lowered his gaze, he wouldn't know what I was wearing and it still wouldn't be his. It wouldn't be his business, you know? So, you know, you get it all over the place. And that's the thing that.
There she goes. Well, that's the thing.
Technology is fun.
Isn't it great? But you did never know the reaction. I can tell you that. I was on the trail with her and it was crazy. You just never knew.
You guys, I applaud. Here she comes. There she is.
That's the thing that you have to know. People are going to attack you no matter what. So just do you and give yourself permission and show up and, you know, and know you, because the more you know you, the less other things that people say will bother you.
Yeah. It's always coming back to home base. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I think that's a big thing. One of the things that I say often is only love is real. Only love is real. And what would love do? And in all 100% of the cases, when I ask myself, what would love do? I always make the right choice, even if it's seemingly inconvenient, or even if it goes against what my ego is telling me, or, you know, it's in some kind of other opposition, or it puts me in a position where I'll be taken advantage of, or whatever kind of nonsense. Because what love does is so amazing. And so I never have to go too far either way. I can go, okay, I can see what's really happening here. And if only love is real and fear is an illusion, then I am allowed to make new choices based off of how I would like to be treated, how I would want someone to show up for me, and how I would like things to be. So I think that's huge. Going back to home base is huge.
Just loving yourself. Loving yourself also includes boundaries.
Yes. So, what would love do is about boundaries as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes I have to tell people in self-talk, I'm like, would you talk to your kids the way you talk to you?
I've heard that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I definitely could definitely get on board with that.
We're hard on ourselves. Yeah. We love you.
Like, I would not be friends with me. What did I just say to me? Just so you know, Liz had followed. Let's see. She said, I was so impressed with your campaign. And she said that she had a feeling about that difference between men and women treating you differently on the campaign trail. I'm really so grateful for this time that I got to spend with you, Deedra and Tara. You girls are incredible. You're incredible forces of nature in this world. Your commitment to love and change and kindness and allowing people to discover who they are, and giving people free rein and having that empathy for them. You guys have you've changed my life in so many ways. And I don't know if you know that or realize that, and how I have felt more educated and more in tune and aligned with my compassion and my understanding of things. So I just want to tell you how grateful I am to both of you for being that force in my life.
Well, thank you for publishing my book and making it easy. All I had to do was the content.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Well, and also I did the content and I did the cover. I didn't make the cover, but I gave it to you. And then y'all made it awesome, more awesome. It was already awesome, but y'all made it more awesome.
And you made this one awesome way. I can't see which way to go, but you know what I'm talking about. The Love Meets Life book. That's you too, Kyra. Yeah.
Yes, this one. You guys you got a sticker. You guys have a special place in my heart. Is there anything that you would like to leave our friends with today? Tara, you go first. Anything you'd like to leave our friends with?
I mean, on International Women's Day, I would just say, Deedra's so right. Learn about yourself, study yourself. I mean, it's a lifelong journey. We're going to make mistakes. We're human. It's okay. And just keep giving yourself grace. I'm talking to myself and you. And we're going to get through this together. Keep lifting each other up, though. That's what we need to do. Keep lifting each other up. All of us women, we need to be a support.
Yeah, agreed. Deedra?
On this Women's History Month and International Women's Day, remember that none of these women that we are celebrating from history were making or intending to make history when they made history. They were just living their lives and trying to make the world a better place just in their sphere of influence. Some of them were just trying to make a living or not be discriminated against. They were not trying to necessarily change the world, and yet they did. So remember that as you're trying to do you to the best of your ability, which looks different every day, remember that you're making history today, and you don't even know it. And also, if you want to talk more about about different tools, you can go to, we have a Facebook group. It's Abboud Time. So it's about time, but you spell it Abboud, my last name, Abboud.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Sorry. So it's Abboud Time was my hashtag during the campaign. Sorry. So let's talk about it is the group, and it's interactive. We just talk about it.
Oh, that's perfect. Let me see yes, I'm gonna put in all of these comments and things like that, and make sure I have links for people getting their book signed, a signed copy of your book. But please go out and download the Kindle version. That'll help with rankings and SEO and help people see Deedra's book more readily available on Amazon, because I believe this is a message, and these messages need to be told. These conversations need to get out there. Guys, I'm Kyra Schaefer with As You Wish Publishing. I am so grateful to everyone who decides they want to join me and just have these really great conversations with amazing people like Tara and Deedra. I'm going to have Liz Dawn on tomorrow. I'm very, very excited about that. So keep tuning in, subscribe, do your thing, and I'll keep bringing you these awesome people.
She's given her Korean heart. She loves
Korean heart. I love Asian movies and television shows.
That what that is? Is that it?
Maybe you can see it if I put it in front of my scarf more.
I love making Korean food, so I love Korean culture. We got to talk. Okay.
I got recommendations on some of the best TV.
Oh yeah. Time to started looking. Yeah. Okay, guys. Me and the girls are gonna keep talking, but I want to go ahead and honor your guys' time, and thank you. Liz says great conversation. We love you guys, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.